I made $25,000 in 5 months selling digital products, and I'm going to give you the raw, unfiltered truth about what I learned and the things that no one else is talking about. Because yes, I did make money, but I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of wasted time, and a lot of energy trying to understand what works and what didn't work. These are actual things that I've learned, the actual experiences that I went through, and now I'm sharing it with you guys. So let's get into the video. Mindset is literally everything. When I first started, I thought the key was to have the perfect product, but in reality, if you start thinking like that, if you think you need the best offer in the world, you're gonna talk yourself out of marketing. You're gonna talk yourself out of thinking it's even possible for you to be able to sell a product that people are actually gonna want. And honestly, that's gonna keep you from quitting a lot of the times, because even in my experience, within month 2, month 3 of not making any sales, it was like I was so close to quitting. I was so close to like putting it up and be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going on to the next thing. But honestly, once you realize that it is possible, you are capable of making money in this space, you are deserving of being able to do what everyone else is doing. That mindset is going to keep you from quitting and be like, okay, this is just a part of the process. This is natural. And that's the thing that people don't talk about. It's actually natural to go months or just go periods without making sales, because business is not always going to be up. It's not always going to be up. It's literally impossible to be going up and up and up every single time. If you think about it, think of it in terms of like a chart, like a trading chart. Stocks are going to go up. They naturally go up over time, but there's going to be times where it goes up and it goes down to hell. It's going to drop. And that's normal. People don't, the ones that make money in the stock market, they don't flinch when the market goes down. They know it's part of the process. It's part of the process for them to be able to get back up there. So when your business is down, use that opportunity to be like, okay, let me understand what's going wrong. Let me fix certain things, not make too many changes to the entire business itself, but like make some tweaks that'll help you adjust for the next run. So number 2, let's get into the niche secrets. And you probably heard you have to pick up a specific niche, or you probably heard pick a niche a million times, but not all niches are created equal. And let me explain. I feel like the best niches to be in, and regardless of whether you're passionate about it or not, the best niches to be in to actually make money is health, wealth, and relationships. Those are the only consistent niches where people are actively looking for solutions, actively having problems when it comes to making money, when it comes to building financial freedom, when it comes to even just bettering your relationship, because that's an ongoing thing that people are always going to need. I would start with those 3 niches. And then from there, once you make money, once you get your footing, once you understand how to make content, how the whole process works of building this business up, then I would go on to anything else that I'm more passionate about and start building there. But I've already got my footing. I've already got the flow of things when I start in those 3 niches. I actually learned this the hard way. I thought I could just give the market exactly what I thought they wanted, but in reality, there's not going to be any urgency. People are not going to care at all. But when I switched over to helping people literally make money, like who doesn't want to make money? And that's when business started picking up, because once I focused on teaching people how to make sales with their digital products, I promise you business went up, because who doesn't want to make sales online? Who doesn't want to sell their digital products? People are already struggling with it. So if I come in, I'm like, hey, I help you do this, you're going to pay it. You're going to pay that money to be able to help, to be able to get to that next level. Now moving on to number 3, start with a service. And this is not said enough. I feel like people just go straight into ebooks. You don't have to start off with selling an ebook. I feel like the best way to start off is by selling a service. So once you come out and you sell a service, that means you're hands on. You're actually doing the work, whether it be you're helping someone grow their social media page, or you're helping someone build funnels, or you're helping email marketing. Whatever it is, services are easier to sell because people actually want the work to do it. Rather, like if I were to come up to you and like, hey, I have an ebook that helps you build a funnel, you're gonna be like, that's cool. But if I'm like, hey, I have a service where I'll build a funnel for you, now you're talking. Now you feel like you're gonna be taken care of. And what you would do, you start with that service. Start with a service, and then from there, actually take the time to go through it, understand what your audience is struggling with as far as when it comes to fulfilling that service. And then from there, you take all their struggles, you're taking all their struggles, all their pain points, and then turning that into ebook. So if I were to start all over again, I would start service and take everything that you learned from doing that service and then put it into ebook. And then that way you have an like a actual product that people are actually looking to buy and actually solves their issues. And then the next thing you're gonna want to do is keep it simple. One offer will outsell a bunch of offers. And honestly, whenever I'm working with creators, or even myself before I even had to learn this, I learned it from helping other creators, because Like I would go into their pages and understand. I would try to understand what they're trying to sell, right? And through me trying to understand, like me going through their page as a regular user, I was like, what is the main offer that you're trying to push here? There would be sometimes they'd be selling this credit guide, or they'd be selling a credit guide, and then they switch over to selling like a planner or like a random planner, or and then they switch over to selling social media services. Like if you're pulling your audience in so many different directions, no one's gonna understand what you're trying to sell. And if no one understands what you're trying to sell, you're gonna make your life so much harder. You want to keep it simple. One product, one clear offer is gonna do amazing numbers, and it does more numbers than you think, because if you just offer that one service, one offer, I know exactly who to go to. I know exactly who, like, one, like if I were to say one arrow is better than three different arrows going in a bunch of different directions. You have that one thing, for that one clear offer, so that way when people do come to your page, it's like, I'm not confused. I know exactly what I'm getting. I don't have to be like, let me go see what this offer is about. Why does she have this offer when there's this in her bio? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So keep it simple. Keep it simple, and I promise you, by keeping it simple, you make business way easier for yourself in general. And then lesson number 5, you're not here to help everyone. When I first started out, I used to think the bigger audience I target, the easier it is to make sales. But when you try to appeal to everyone, no one's gonna feel connected to your content, and your content is gonna be bland. It's gonna be watered down, because you're trying to talk to a bunch of different audience, talk to a bunch of different pain points. And like, if I were to come into a room and I say, hey, Brian with a black sweater on, you turn around. But if I'm like, hey, person wearing a shirt in the room, turn around. I'm like, oh, you must be talking to another guy. So narrowing down your audience and speaking directly to the right people is going to make your content so much better. It's going to make your conversions easier to happen, because you know exactly who you're talking to, and whoever you're not doesn't apply. Then once I narrowed down my audience to beginner digital product sellers, the content hit harder, and people felt like I was making content just for them, because I know exactly who I was talking to. I know exactly who they're struggling with, and I know exactly what would be able to help them get out of their current situation. You're this far into the video now, you're trying to figure out, and you feel like, if you're this far into the video and you feel like, hey, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I can start selling digital products myself, I feel like I'm ready to get into the field and start doing it. I have a video on I have a video that breaks down exactly how I sell digital products with no audience, no experience whatsoever, and I was still able to make sales selling digital products. So I'll link that in the video above. On to the next one. So lesson 6, platform intent does matter, right? So what I learned early on was that there's different platforms, and the different platforms have different intentions going behind them. They have different audiences, right? So TikTok, what I do is I use TikTok to test ideas, because TikTok forces your content out to it forces your content out to random people at first. So that is like testing grounds to test out different ideas, see what works, see what doesn't work. And then Instagram is more of the nurturing content, since it pushes your content to more of your followers. And then since with that in mind, you'll use Instagram to do more nurture content, more authority building content, since I would say Instagram is more talking to your specific audience, and TikTok is more talking to a broad audience, testing out ideas within your audiences. And then YouTube is more of that high quality. This is your target audience. They're looking for exact problems, and then you can use YouTube to go deeper into whatever you're trying to, whatever topics you're trying to cover, and you could even use that to sell. I feel like TikTok, you can sell on there. It's possible. People are doing it. They're doing it through TikTok Lives. But I feel like the audience intent is way lower than it is on YouTube, because when you go on YouTube, you're actively looking, you actively have a problem, and you're looking for active solutions to fix that problem. Clear results for your products, right? People don't buy transformations. People buy transformation. They don't buy the information. People don't want another ebook. People don't want to be told, here's how you do, like, people don't want to be told, here's how you can do this. People want exact step by step, like, what is going to happen when I buy this product? What is the exact result that this product is going to give me that I could then use to be able to get to where I'm trying to go? And that's what I realized people want. They don't want to know, like, they don't want to guess. They don't want to guess what your product is going to do for them. They tell them what it's going to do. Be super specific in what your product is going to be able to do for them, and then that makes it clear whether or not they want to end up buying your product. What I also learned is done is better than perfect. You launch now, like, I think people, they get too caught up on the nitty gritty of trying to make the perfect product, when in reality you can make the perfect product and it still won't be perfect. Like, people are always going to have some improvement, some tweak to make to your product that can make it better. And honestly, you want to launch now, because if you do launch now, you'll be able to understand what works and what doesn't work. And the faster you understand what works, the faster you can be able to pivot. The faster you understand what doesn't work, the faster you're able to pivot to what does work. And then you're going to want to talk to your audience. I feel like this is one of the biggest things that you can do when it comes to having a good product. You want to talk to your audience, because they're the ones that's buying. You could literally ask your audience, like, hey, how can I make this better? What would you have put into this product that can make it even more beneficial for you? And you could literally just DM them. And then once, by having genuine conversations with your audience, you understand, like, you can literally talk like them. So if they're like, hey, I'm struggling with content that converts, your next post can be, here's how you make content that converts. And that is talking directly to your audience. And they're going to be like, hey, whoever is a part of your audience, they're going to be like, this is exactly what I say on my free time. So what is his solution for this issue? And then be willing to pivot, right? A lot of times, one of the things that we experienced when we were first starting out with digital products is that we were okay with pivoting, right? We didn't have an issue with being like, okay, this is not working, so let's change the offer, let's tweak something to something that does work, right? And a lot of people, what they don't do is they stick with something for so long and they're like, okay, I got to stick it out, but not realizing, like, the market doesn't want that. The market doesn't want whatever it is you have to offer. So be willing to pivot, be willing to go in the direction where the audience actually wants it. Listen to that. Don't be so stubborn in your ways. Be like, okay, this is gonna eventually figure out. This is gonna eventually work. Because if you're not talking to your audience, you're just guessing, and guessing can get really expensive. That brings us to the next point. Don't over leverage AI. One of the biggest things that I don't like in the space right now is that people are so willing to use ChatGPT in every single one of their posts, to the point where AI ChatGPT is this is the one that's making the content, is the one that's doing the caption, this is the one that's even coming up with the content ideas, which is good. AI can help you out. It should assist you, but not replace your actual voice. Because before anything else, like, once you let AI replace your voice, people can understand, like, this is not Brian talking, this is just ChatGPT. And since everybody's using ChatGPT, everybody's getting so used to it, they're gonna know that it's not you that's talking. It's ChatGPT talking. And once they feel like the lack of human emotion, human empathy, human feelings is not there, they're gonna go on to the next person. They want to Social media nowadays, people want to connect with real people, not just another AI. So AI is amazing for speed, terrible for actually making connections. And what I do, I use it to brainstorm, like, I use it to help me get an extra footing, but I don't that's all. Like, I don't use it for anything else. Like, it's just use it as a base foundation for going forward. Lesson 12, freebie strategy. So a lot of people are like, you need to have a freebie in your funnel. You need to have a freebie to get leads, but freebies don't work unless it's actually made with intention. A lot of the times, people just put together a freebie and, like, okay, I need emails, I need to get people into my ecosystem, and they just put together, like, oh, the blandest freebie known to man. And people can sense that. Like, if your freebie is like, um let's say, here's I'm trying to think of a trash freebie. Like, it's like, here's how to grow on social media. It's very, very broad, very bland. It doesn't really do nothing. And even inside, it's like, make sure you have social media, make sure you have Instagram, make sure you have a bio, make sure you have this. That's good information, but what does that do for me that I haven't heard already? I need to be able to use your freebie and be like, damn, this is exactly what I need. It's like, be really specific with your freebie, right? So one of the freebies that we dropped early on was, here's how to make $500 on social media, right? Who doesn't want to make $500 on social media? And inside the freebie, it was actual strategies that you use to be able to get $500 on social media, and people were actually using it and they were making money. So when people are using that freebie, they see the freebie that it works for them and they're able to get results. It gets them primed and ready to be like, okay, if this was free, that means whatever the paid product he has to offer, that means it's gonna go crazy. It has to go crazy because I got results from his freebie. So we actually, when we first launched our community, it was free. It was free. People were in there and they're like, yo, this is amazing. You guys are giving calls. You guys are doing this. You guys are giving out resources, homework assignments. Like, this is everything I need. No one else is doing this. And then from there, they trusted us so much to the point where we're like, okay, we're dropping a paid version of this. People are like, oh my gosh, like I need this. I need this because you guys just prove yourself so much. Like I trust you guys because you guys put so much effort into this freebie. Now I know since this is going to be a paid product, since I'm putting my hard-earned money behind it, I know that you guys aren't going to let me down. So your freebie should feel like a win. So they trust you with the bigger problem. And then email is still king. Anytime, don't rely on one social media. Like email is still the money maker. You make a lot of money in the back end. You'll be able to get followers. But the thing is, social media your Instagram account can get clapped like that. It can get like you can't even control if TikTok, you can't control if your TikTok account gets banned. You can't control if your Instagram account gets banned. You can't control any of that. But what you can control is your email marketing, right? And emails, you're sending people who doesn't check their emails, right? You're sending emails directly to people and you're staying in their inbox. So when people do get bored and they're like scrolling through the emails, you'll be popping up there. And that they can't take that away from you. You could sell whatever you want to your email list. You could be able to build that connection, you build that community inside your own email list, and it's your own, and no one could take that from you. Most of the launches that we did, like I would say like a lot of the sales that we got, probably like 80% of the sales that we got was from nurturing inside the emails, telling people like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we were able to accomplish, this is what we did in the past 6 months. Look at one of our testimonials. And it wasn't just purely selling, it was like just nurturing your audience, actually showing them that you care about them, and then staying on top of their mind because they see so much stuff on social media in the day. They go through so much pieces of content, like you don't want to just be noise in the background. So when you do show up with your emails, you show up with value. It's like, okay, I feel like this person is talking to me on a daily, and there's less noise, right? In your emails, it's like you'll see all these emails, but social media is like you'll see this person traveling, you'll see this person making money, you'll see this person doing this. But with the emails, you just gotta read it. You're reading, and you're just like, it's so much more intimate than just posting on social media and making connections there. And then one thing that I did learn is that you need to build systems around how you work. You need to set up an environment for yourself to be like, okay, I could just hop into work and I'll be able to get effective work done, right? And that's really just based off you going through the motions and learning what works and what doesn't work for you. It needs to be repeatable to the point where you wake up, at 11 o'clock, you're already in an environment to be able to make content. You already know how to create the caption. You already have a caption bank ready there. So you could literally just make content, pull a caption, be able to post, be able to get leads coming into your ecosystem. You have the emails running in the background that you already set up. So it's just like making systems for yourself. And what I do, I use Notion, and I have a daily checklist for my lever moving tasks, right? So by 12 o'clock, my main lever movers are supposed to be done by 12. Like anything after that is just client work, and it's not as important. Well, client work is important, but it's not as tedious as getting the lever movers done, because then I can just focus on putting my effort towards helping whatever my clients need. So like, for example, if they need like a quick quiz or a quick website done, I could be able to just focus on that for the rest of the day. But I just know the lever movers are done by 12 o'clock, so I could keep moving the business forward. And then another thing is that you don't need any fancy funnels. A Google Doc and a payment link can make you 10K. Like I've seen it so many times. Simplicity works. And a lot of times fancy funnels, like they're just complicated. They're annoying to set up. You actually don't need it. People, sometimes they load slow, and people like, all people do is like, oh, this looks nice. But the thing you want to do is get people to where you're trying to get them to in the fastest manner possible, right? Google Doc is so easy to set up, and people don't, as long as it like looks presentable, people are not gonna care that it's a Google Doc. People aren't gonna care that it's a payment link. They're just trying to get to whatever they're just trying to get whatever they're trying to get, and then be out of your way. That's it. So if you try to make the fanciest funnels, you try to make the fanciest designs and all that stuff, like yeah, it looks nice. It takes you longer time to set up, and then even when you put all that effort into setting up, it's like this can or cannot work. But a Google Doc is like you get it done faster, you get the payment link done faster, you know what works, and what doesn't work. So then you be able to pivot to what does work faster. And I feel like a lot of times we think we need to have the craziest stuff or the craziest funnels when in reality people don't care. People, if you're telling me I can make $1,000 in this Google Doc, I don't care. Like as long as the transformation is there and I know the results are there, Just give me what I need and let me go. And then this is one of the biggest things that I had to learn during my time coming up and just trying to make money in the space. Don't copy big creators verbatim, right? I used to just copy creators. I'm like, okay, if it was working for them in the past, like it has to work for me, right? No. This if you're trying to copy creators if you're trying to copy big creators with their content now, their audience is different. Their audience has already built a connection with them. So literally whatever they put out is going to work well with them, right? So if you try to come in this and you have no audience and you try to do what the big creators are doing, it'll get some views, but it's like, there's a lot of other extra factors in the background that are working. Like you have these big creators have diehard audiences that make them want to keep putting out content, like that make them like whatever they put out, it's going to be eaten up. They're going to get the likes, they're going to get the reposts. But if you do it, it just doesn't make sense. So instead, what you would do is copy creators that are around the same audience size as you. And what you're going to do is just go through their page and look at what content did flop, and then from the content that did flop, what content got the most views. And that's the content that you mimic and use as your own. You don't just copy the big creators, because 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work for you. When I tried it, a lot of the content flopped. But when I went to people that was already my audience size and they were able to post one piece of content that blew up, I was like, this worked for some reason, because they already have a small audience. So you can't even put it on the factor that like, oh, their audience was loving it. No, it's just actually what works in the current stage we're in now. So copying the big creators is only going to make you burnt out. It's going to make you be like, this doesn't work. People are lying. Like, what am I doing here? And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I had to learn. And then lesson 17, honesty sells more than fake results. People nowadays, they like to pull results. They like, oh, 10K in 30 minutes, or 17K in an hour, or 17K in 2 months, 2 weeks, whatever. Honestly, when people say that, it just makes you be like, oh, that's impossible, right? If you tell me I made one sale today, like I feel like that is more realistic. People can see themselves in you rather than being like, oh, I made 30K in 4 months, or 30K, whatever, like whatever that is. Honesty sells more than fake results. So just state the facts, and regardless of what the facts is, there's people out there that are looking to get the same results that you were able to accomplish. So don't count yourself short. And then just do more of what works. A lot of the times we try, like, business gets a little boring sometimes, just being repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again, because a lot of entrepreneurs, we like to experiment. We try to explore. We try to do more of like innovative stuff. But honestly, that's what makes you lose money and makes you more confused in the end process, right? You just want to double down on the content that's working, the strategies that bring results, and nothing else. Nothing. If anything, you spend 10% of your efforts testing. The rest of the 90% is what you're doing of more works. That way, you're putting the effort that you do put in is going to be rewarding for what you get back. That it's like, don't do anything that doesn't work, because you're just gonna waste your time. And then slow progress beats burnout. You don't have to be moving at the fastest pace. You don't got. I know it gets annoying when you see everybody is moving at a certain speed and you're just not there yet. But the people who make it aren't the ones who blew up fast. They're the ones who just stay consistent long enough to see results and let it work out for them. And then honestly, start now. There's no better time to start now. Every day that you wait is missed income, and you're just gonna be sitting there thinking like, dang, I should have did this, I should have did that. When in reality, you just got to start and then figure everything out along the way. Like, it's not that serious. You're not gonna have everything figured out day one. You're not gonna be making money day one. Like, it's possible, but it's not likely. Like, you just got to start, and then as you go through the process, you'll understand what does work and what doesn't work. That's 8 months worth of selling digital products, and $25,000 later. If you're ready to start selling digital products, comment below what you're struggling with. I'll give you my personal take on it. See you guys in the next video.